I don't want to get her involved in this. I want to ruin her life. Like it's something like this. I don't want her involved in this. Okay.
It made contact and shattered.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Brian Laundrie's body has been found. Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
That's all it is the truth. So there's nothing to hide in that coroner's report. There's nothing to hide by not having Kelly take a polygraph. And if the truth comes out, and this was
reference to a missing 4-year-old, the parents have called me and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
Hello?
It's gone.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for another ATS live stream. We are digging into the Kiely Rodni case. She's a missing 16-year-old, and I think we should just get right into it. So normally I go live stream at night. Well, this case is ongoing, so I figured I would jump on the morning crew and give you some of the morning updates because, a lot of information comes out during the day and at night, and the baby keeps me busy during those times. So I have a moment before she gets out of the crib to kind of go through some stuff with you guys. So here I am, got up early, and I'm ready to discuss some stuff. First and foremost, I have to go through and share this because it was already being misreported last night, and we just need to keep the facts out there. She is still missing. There was misreporting saying that she had been found. She has not been found. Kiely's mother, frantic mom, has slammed web sleuths for circulating rumors after cops were forced to address scanner reports claiming the missing teen was found. And I'm sure you guys seen stuff going around. I saw it on Twitter before I saw it on YouTube, and then I heard about it on YouTube, and I was like, oh no. Kiely Rodni slammed so-called web sleuths for circulated false information on Thursday night, claiming that the teen had been found. I knew it was BS, Kiely told The Sun. I'm staying off social media, and I've told these poor kids to stay off social media because they're getting streams of messages of people fighting underneath their posts and accusing all these terrible things. None of it is helpful. So I just wanted to say that, rumors are going around, and, everyone, I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but, just be careful of the people that you're following and that they have the best interests in mind for justice and for reporting the truth, because I'm not saying that everybody's that way, but some of them just want clicks and views. So now we'll get into the case for those who don't know it, just a little bit of background information. And hello, chat, Mel Mac and Kelly Searches Equals Answers, Roxana, Rosie, good morning. I'm so glad you're here today. So I'm just going to play some stuff that I'm sure you guys have seen and heard about, but I've put together the timeline and a few interesting clips and just some stuff that I want to break down and discuss with you guys. So let me just share my screen 1 second. And good morning, everyone. And if you could like and subscribe if you haven't, please do so. I'm going to drink my coffee while I switch screens. Give me 1 second. Kiely Rodni was last seen at a campground party in Truckee, California on August 6th at around 12:31 a.m. She is 16 years old, she has multiple piercings, and the tattoo of the number 17 on her ribs. She is 118 pounds, has blonde hair and hazel eyes. If you have any information, please call Placer County Sheriff Office at 530-886-5375 or 911. There is a $50,000 reward, and she drives a 2013 Honda CR-V with the license plate number BYUR127 with California state plates. She is 5'7" and her phone and her car are missing. Friends, family, and authorities are scrambling to find 16-year-old Kiely Rodni after she disappeared following a campground party in Northern California near Truckee. An anonymous tip line has been established and a $50,000 reward is being offered to help find Kiely. August 5th, 6 p.m., detectives located surveillance video from a business in Truckee where 16-year-old Kiely Rodni was spotted on August 5th at 6:08 p.m. before she went missing. On August 5th at 11:30 p.m., Kiely's mother, who gave Kiely permission to attend a party at the Prosser campground, received a text from her daughter asking if her curfew could be extended to 12:30 a.m.
I asked her to wake me up when she got home, like she always does, and she said, okay, and thanks, Mama, love you. And that's the last I ever heard from her.
At midnight on August 6th, Elsa Piekerick, who was at the party, saw Kiely at 12 a.m. August 6th, at 8 a.m., Kiely's mother woke up not knowing where her daughter was. She checked Kiely's phone location and it stated her last location was at the Prosser campground. She called Kiely's best friend, who said she left the party early and was supposed to meet at a Starbucks to go camping at 9 a.m. Kiely's friends go to the Prosser campground and did not find Kiely or her car. That same day at 9 a.m., Kiely's friends and mothers wait at a Starbucks in Truckee, hoping Kiely would arrive for their scheduled camping trip. But Kiely does not show up. Kiely's mother calls the police to file a missing person report. That same day on August 6th at 7:30 p.m., Placer County Sheriff's Office releases a missing person statement. August 7th, family pleads for the public's help. August 8th, family and friends host a community search party at the Truckee Donner Recreation Center in District Park. Placer County Sheriff's Office holds a press conference announcing the FBI is now a part of the investigation. August 8th, 12:30 p.m., Placer County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in locating the missing 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. August 9th, 16 agencies are now involved in the investigation. Search and rescue teams are scavenging the areas surrounding Prosser Reservoir while helicopters and aircraft fly over Truckee and North Tahoe searching for Kiely in her silver Honda CR-V. August 10th, 2 p.m., California Highway Patrol held a press conference with updated information on the investigation, including the following. A new item of clothing, a hoodie she could be wearing the night she disappeared. Police have no leads out of the hundreds of tips they received. None were witness account of Kiely leaving the party. Search teams are using water divers, dogs, and aircrafts in the efforts. CHP has video from local businesses and people who attended the party. There is still no suspect.
We have stories about the beginning of the night and the middle of the night, but we don't really have, there are no stories about her leaving, when she left, or who she left with. There's no stories of her car leaving.
On August 10th at 5:30 p.m., a community meeting was held at the Truckee Donner Recreation and Park District. Since August 9th, law enforcement has received over 200 tips from the public. The disappearance of Kiely Rodni continues, but it is not being labeled as an abduction since no one saw Kiely leave the party and there were no signs of force or trauma. The Placer County Sheriff's Office also stated there were more than 200 teens and young adults at the party located at Prosser Campground on August 6th. They are asking anyone with information, videos, or sightings of Kiely to come forward.
The Amber Alert is a system for notification with suspected child abduction. Right now, we don't have any evidence that supports an abduction. Like we said, we're not ruling anything out, and that's why we're kind of pulling out all the stops.
We're trying to find out exactly what happened, and at this point, we believe that someone knows, someone saw her, but they're not coming forward.
Okay, so let me just pause this. I know you guys have seen this going around. It's the ex-boyfriend pretty much saying on his TikTok that he's taking tips and the sheriff would like him to go through the tips first and filter them out. The sheriff and law enforcement has come out claiming that this was not true, that they don't need him to do that and to bring them all the tips. So people have been wondering, why did this ex-boyfriend get the impression that, bring him the tips and the sheriff wants him to filter them through? Well, I've immediately thought that this was some sort of tactic. They can put there's technology out there, with a warrant from a judge where they can literally just watch your everything you're doing, like on your devices and stuff. So obviously, it would take a warrant, but we do know that FBI is involved, and she's a missing person, so they will do whatever they need to do. So that was just kind of interesting that the boyfriend's coming out on social media saying this, and the sheriff pretty much came out saying like, no, like we want you to bring us the tips. You don't have to bring it to the ex-boyfriend. And a lot of people have found the ex-boyfriend's statements a little strange. He had said things like the last final words that they had said together was through text message. And he said, be safe. Don't like do anything stupid, he said. And, we have her best friend, supposedly Sammy, saying how smart of a girl she is. We know for a fact that she graduated early with honors, so she clearly is smart. But why, if she's so smart, why would the last thing be from the ex-boyfriend, to say, be safe, don't do anything stupid? I don't know. It's just very questionable. Why would he do that? Melmac, you didn't hear that? Yeah, this was, I guess, on um, his TikTok. Somebody commented saying, call Placer County Sheriff's, not the number, because he put his number out there for information. And, who knows what this is about. But the Placer County Sheriff's Office said that is false. The only tip line is, and then they gave their information. So they've had to come out and kind of clear this up. The mother, clearing up the fact that she wasn't found. I mean, this is just a complete nightmare. Hi, Rebecca. Good to see you. Hope everything's going well over there across the pond. Tony Smith said, I don't know why the police won't make arrests. Been a week so far. Numerous crimes discovered already. Underage drinking, drugs, drinking and driving, risk of injury to a minor, parental negligence. Yeah, I think they're just waiting, for the big fish. They realize that there's a lot of things going on and background info, but they want to find her, and I understand that they're holding out for something bigger, hopefully. As far as the children being involved, Sammy is 18, so I feel comfortable with my opinion, expressing my opinion on her. I am very suspicious of her. The first night I heard her interview was a few days ago, and I was just like, I don't know, the red flags kind of were going up. If I'm wrong, you know, about Sammy being involved, then of course I will come out and apologize. And this is all alleged. This is all my opinion. But yeah, Kelly said, yes, it's so odd. Doesn't make sense. I mean, they are 16, so who knows? But it is shady. I know. And that's the thing, is like, maybe they're saying these things because they're young, they're immature, they're not thinking that it comes across as strange. But at the same time, we've seen other cases where teenagers can be just as twisted and demented as some of these adults in true crime stories. I'm not saying that that's what's going on here. Good morning, Ashley Oaks. So glad you're here. Hi, Tony. But I just find it strange. Now, before we proceed more, I do have a sheriff office post last night that they had done. It shares a photo of Kiely, and I'll post this on my community page too, so you guys can see it. Or, I mean, you can go right to the Placer County Sheriff's Office Twitter or Facebook page. It's on there. Says, this photo was recently taken of Kiely before she went missing. Please look at the necklaces she is wearing. We ask anyone who has or may have seen these necklaces to please do one of the following. And then it says, call the tip line. It's anonymous. You can email it. But I'll just describe the picture. It's Kiely wearing numerous gold chain necklaces. Now, I find it interesting that the sheriff would put out something pretty much about these necklaces, saying that if anyone's seen them or if anyone, it's just interesting that they're looking for these necklaces. Why would they be looking for the necklaces? It makes me think that they were told something and it has to do with the necklaces. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. So now I want to kind of go into Sammy Smith a little bit. And she's 18, 2 years older than Kiely. She said herself that they started hanging out a lot more the last few months. So, when you look at missing people cases, you tend to look up stuff that led up to their disappearance, things that changed in their life, stuff that's just new, or something that stands out. It stood out to me the first night I heard Sammy pretty much say that they had increasingly gotten closer the past few months, like hung out more. I feel like that is noteworthy only because it's something different from Kiely's life than it was like a year prior. Sammy wasn't hanging out with Kiely a year ago, it seems. You know what I mean? So I think it's noteworthy that this older girl's influence was sort of heavily introduced to Kiely more frequently over the last few months. That's just my opinion. It could absolutely mean nothing, and this girl could be absolutely 100% innocent. But like I said, I just have gut feelings and intuition, and I was a teenage girl myself one day, so a long time ago. Hi, Georgie. It's good to see you from Australia. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. So like I said, I want to get into Sammy a little bit, and then we'll discuss some things about Sammy.
The alleged friend of Kiely is spearheading the effort to help bring her home. She is coordinating search parties at the Truckee Community Recreation Center and claims that they became closer and closer the last few months.
I need you to be looking out for Kiely and Kiely's car.
Right now.
Is anybody willing to go to Reno and maybe Midtown?
Sammy Smith, one of Kiely's good friends, is organizing crews of community members who are looking for the teen across the Tahoe.
Now, I think it's noteworthy, and this is just me analyzing things. I mean, she's sending people in directions of where to look. Everyone has heard her interview, I'm sure. She says something about print off flyers and hang flyers. Yes, that's helpful. Yes, I encourage people to do that. I just find it interesting that somebody from her generation wouldn't be saying more things like, share this hashtag. We have a hashtag called Find Kiely. Get it out there on your social medias. Let's get this across the internet. But it seemed more like she was wanting to do like boots on the ground type run around stuff, like flyers and stuff. Again, I could just be overthinking things. I just find it weird that another thing is I'm hearing she turned off comments on her social medias. And that means, for those who don't know, she'll post something on social media, and then instead of being able to go in the comments section and talk about it, she's set it to a setting where you can't comment. And if she's going to be the organization person and the communication type person for this missing search party, having an open communication line, especially on social media, I mean, that should be out there. That should be able for people, maybe they just want to get a hold of you on social media. Well, now they can't. She turned off comments. That's coming from Amanda S. Vita, who has a true crime channel. She's very good at web sleuthing. She's the one who told me that some of her comments were shut off. I find that interesting. If I'm wrong, please let me know. For those watching this on replay, I read the comments and I appreciate everyone who watches. So comment below your thoughts and let me know what you think. Since we're on the topic of social media, I feel it's noteworthy to kind of leave it paused for a second while we're talking about Sammy and to kind of go through some things that have come out. And I don't know if you guys know this or not. So, social media. Kiely, the girl missing, is friends with, aka follows. So when you say someone follows you, it pretty much means you're on like each other's friends list, for those who don't know. So Kiely doesn't follow Sammy on social media. Okay, so Sammy's the so-called friend here. It shows that Kylie's not following her. It also shows Sammy doesn't follow Kiely. Okay, interesting. But what it does show is Kiely follows her ex-boyfriend, so, we hear from him. They had a text conversation that night that she went missing. When she was at the party, he says, don't do anything stupid. They seem to have an open communication line still, even though he's the ex. So she's still following her ex-boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend is still following his ex-girlfriend, Kiely, the girl missing. But what's interesting is Sammy also follows the ex-boyfriend, and I believe his name's Jagger. But Sammy and Kiely aren't following each other. So Jagger follows Sammy. Sammy follows Jagger. Jagger and Kiely follow each other. But Sammy has no connection as far as following Kiely on social media. And I know that people have already said this already, but what I find interesting too is not only is Sammy leading the search crew and made herself kind of the spokesperson, come to me if you have anything, look here, hang this flyer, print this up. We need everyone to get this word out. Okay, what do you guys think about my thought as, okay, say your friend is missing. You're obviously trying to find them, but you don't follow them on social media, but they're missing. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, I might as well follow them on social media because then I'll be one of the first people to get notified that they're active on their social media. So I find it strange that even though it's come out that they're not following each other, Sammy and Kiely on social media, why, since Kiely is missing, wouldn't Sammy take the extra effort and be like, you know what? I know this is crazy, but I'm going to follow Kiely on her social media. That way I can see her stuff. That way I'll be able to see if somebody comments and something's weird, or I'll be able to see she was active, something. So I just find it very odd that, days have gone by, before she went missing. Okay, you don't follow this girl on social media, fine. But she's missing now. And you're leading the search crew. Don't you think that you should maybe follow her social media to see if she would become active? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm obviously not Sammy, but I agree, Rosie. I saw absolutely no emotion from Sammy. I didn't see it from Jagger, the ex-boyfriend, either. Boys sometimes show emotion differently. Everyone shows emotion differently. But yes, I agree. Sammy is just blank. Like there's just a flat line of her. And again, everyone reacts differently. So let me just continue this and we'll be listening to Sammy a little bit closer.
Region, Glenshire. These flyers are posted in neighborhoods, downtown Truckee, and at campsites.
So this is where everybody's hanging out. Kiely and I were meeting up right here a lot.
Local young people call this open area near.
So she said, Kiely and I were meeting up here a lot. They didn't arrive at the party together. Another indication that they might not be as close as Sammy's making it seem. And I only say that because people have questioned, how close are they? They don't follow each other on social media. She didn't arrive with her at the party. But anyways, so she says, we met up here a few times to talk. Now, I understand congregating at parties, without your girlfriend right beside you. But I find it odd that, they, at one point she talks about they went to her car to charge her phone. And on the way back, Sammy talked to Kiely about giving her a ride home. And then she said, then we split up. And I'm thinking, why I don't know. To me, it's just strange. Like, you ask a girl who's like a friend to you for a ride home, but then you get back to this scene and then you decide to split up from each other. Like, you would think that even though you didn't ride together, you went to the car together to charge the phone. You're talking, you're hanging out, and then you go back to the party. If you're planning on leaving together, why wouldn't you just be like, yeah, just stick by me. My curfew got extended, but just stick with me and we'll leave together when it's time. I don't know. To me, it's just very strange that she asked her for a ride home, then they get back to the campground, and then they split up. Um, yeah, that is strange, Ashley. She said, I think it's strange her friend Mags only stayed 10 minutes and left with her boyfriend. That is strange. I didn't even think about that. And that's why I love you guys in chat kind of stirring things up. Something happened then, Mandy said. When they got back after charging the phone, and when she says they split up. Let me just pour my coffee real quick before I continue on. The other thing that makes no sense to me is how they had split up. Sammy talks about how crazy the party gets. Remember? She was like, it was just, a lot. I mean, it's come out that there was like up to 300 people there. We're talking teens, young adults, because they've mentioned college age people were there. It's just bizarre. At the car, Mandy said, right? She's on the phone with her mom in the car and says, can I please stay later? And then that's the last time anyone outside of the party heard from her. That is a good timeline to kind of hone in on. Like, what? Because honestly, Mandy and everyone, it kind of gets a little hazy. Sammy's recollection of things that happened beyond this point. She does say that she was highly inebriated. And then in another interview, she goes, we were both really drunk. That obviously is probably the truth, but at the same time, what a likely excuse, Oh, you just happen to be so drunk you can't remember certain things. I don't know, suspicious in my mind. So let me pour my coffee, like I said. 1 second.
The Prosser family campground, the Sanctuary. It's a common place for parties. Sammy says she was here with Kiely Friday night, along with tons of other high school and college kids from the Bay Area all the way to Nevada.
Right now, our estimate is about 200 to 250, maybe more.
What she and Kylie's family want to know is how no one saw her leave in her silver Honda CRV. Her car is still missing.
I can't believe it. There has to have been one person. There are people sitting in cars. There are people everywhere around this place.
So every now and then, hold on. Every now and then I get a chance to kind of do the lowdown to my fiance on the cases that I'm following. And he's seen that clip of her saying, like, there had to have been one person who had seen her. And my fiance yelled out, yeah, probably you. And he's just already, he listens while I'm editing this and that. And he's like, she sounds shady. Again, we could be totally wrong. I will 100% apologize if we are wrong. But that was just my fiance's reaction to her. And that's the thing, too, is, hi, Kay Danielle. So good to see you. Exactly. I'd like to know who made her the spokesperson for the family. And in one of the interviews, the one on YouTube, I can't remember the name of the channel, American something, you guys will know in chat. He did a really good job interviewing Sammy. Actually, I have a clip from that I'll share with you guys that I found very suspicious. But he says, how's the family doing, or something like that? And she's like, I've been in close contact with the family. And it's like, yes, we know. Maybe you're just a really nice girl, or maybe that's suspicious. Like, I don't know. But so she says somebody must have had to have seen her. And then even the mother says, we have all these stories, but we don't have a single story of her leaving the party. Nobody had come forward saying, oh, yes, I saw this and that. I saw her here. I saw her car start up. The fact that there is 300 people there, they've gone through interviews, obviously, and they've talked to the people and this and that. And no one has said anything about her leaving. Makes me think that the people who were with her when she was leaving are obviously keeping that under wraps. Could it be an outsider who obviously isn't coming forward? Yes. Could it be one of these teens who have a pact with another team? Don't tell them that we were there. Yes. I mean, let's be real. These teens can do that. If they're the ones to have seen her last, why wouldn't they be the ones to not say it? You know what I mean? Yeah, there are, I see comments in chat. There are, oh, thank you, American Dream Chasers, the channel. Hi, Ray Bird, and hello, Hollow Waters. There are cases where friends and perpetrators have put themselves right up in the forefront of things and, helped organize search parties, etc. So for us to kind of be suspicious, I feel is fair because it's just been done to us before and time again. Karen, how are you? She said, why did her friends not offer her a ride if they were concerned about her driving? I don't understand that either because, Sammy says that, they had this conversation that she was going to give her a ride home. Then they went back and split up. Then she goes on to say that she found a different ride home. Sammy found a different ride home because Sammy wanted to stay longer. Okay, interesting. But didn't Kiely call and ask her mom if she could stay longer? So that was interesting. And then Sammy changed it to she got a different ride home because she had seen how drunk Kiely was and she didn't want to drive with her. After, talking about how they had done shots together, etc. It's just like, which is it? Did you ask her for a ride home? Did you find another ride because you wanted to stay later? Did you not want to ride with her because she was too drunk? There's been other times where Sammy has sort of slipped up a bit. She says, quote, in this interview, I'm driving, and then she changes it. I'm getting driven home now. Like when she's talking about how Kiely called her when she was in the car on her ride home, she goes, I'm driving, and then she changes it. I'm getting a ride. I'm getting driven home now. So people have wondered, was Sammy behind the wheel? There's another quote that Sammy says where she says, I was in the passenger seat. She puts herself in the passenger seat in the story that she's been explaining how things went down. To me, it sounded very convincing that she had to say, like convincing language, like when people use convincing language, when they're lying, they're not actually doing what they're saying they're doing, but they're describing it in a way that's like over exaggerated. I don't know. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like by her saying, I was in the passenger seat, like most people don't have to say that detail when they're talking about getting a ride home or something. They just leave it out because they don't need to convince people of it, so it makes me think that maybe it just wasn't true. I don't know. People have speculated that it did kind of seem like Sammy was driving. I don't know.
With Kiely the entire party and was the last person to contact her before.
And did you hear the media just there? She was with Kiely the entire party and was the last person in contact with her. But then we just heard Sammy pretty much say that we split up. So again, media obviously reports wrong things. They reported that the ex-boyfriend was her current boyfriend. That wasn't true. But, here, I don't know if Sammy gave the media the impression that they were together the entire party, but Sammy has kind of retracted that in a way and said that they've split up. She is also, let me just carry on.
Before she went missing, we were going to leave.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is she's one of the last people to have talked to her on the phone. According to law enforcement, 33 minutes after midnight, so 12:33, is the last cell data that law enforcement has. However, Sammy claims Kiely called her at 12:36. How can that be? you know, and I'm willing to give Sammy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was 12:26 that she called, not 12:36, you know, and that would make it more accurate as far as the data that law enforcement has, the metadata. I don't know.
Together because later in the party I had asked her if she could give me a ride home, and then I realized that she was too intoxicated to give me a ride home, so I decided to try and find a different ride. We were both really drunk.
Jones wants to ask you, on your last call, did she let you know who the...
Okay, so this part, again, this whole interview was super interesting. Crap, now I already forgot the name of the channel and you guys said it to me in chat. Can somebody say the channel name again? I just want to make sure it's up on the screen so that people can... Okay, I found it. Crime Curious's comment. And other people, thank you for letting me know. So All American Dream Chaser, you can see the whole interview. It's all very interesting. This one part, though, I just wanted to put up here because it kind of made me cringe a little bit. You know, he says, can you just clarify to us, you know, who she says she was getting a ride home with, or something about her ride home. And she says, okay, that was a misconception. And I think that that's interesting. It, you know, obviously misinformation goes around quick. We already seen that happen in YouTube and on Twitter, saying that Kiely was found last night and she's not found. I find it interesting that already she's having to clear up a misconception. And could it be because of just misinformation like we've seen, or could it be stories are changing? I don't know. But this was just very interesting to me, this little segment.
quote unquote friend was that was driving her home?
Yeah, so this is a common misconception. She was not being driven home and she was not driving. So, okay.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Kay Danielle, you and me are always on the same page. She didn't seem confused until the part when she tucked her hair behind her ears and she started getting confused and stumbling. Yes. And she just said she didn't drive, referring to Kiely, you know, so she's got to make it clear in her story and what she's trying to convince right now that Kiely was not driving. So yeah, she definitely gets a little... Her body language is interesting. Yes, Teresa says, watch her body language and her eyes. And again, we're not, I mean, maybe there's some body language experts in here, but I'm not a body language expert. Again, she is 18. She's young. She's nervous, maybe. But at the same time, we've seen her very cool and collected in these media reports and her at the search party. So it was sort of interesting to kind of see her get a little bit, she looks uncomfortable. Yes, Ashley says, yes, I feel like this is when her story falls apart. I do too. I do too. Yes, Lynn, the group picture when they're all facing the one direction, I had that on the screen earlier. It is weird. It does seem like they are looking at something. And why would somebody take that picture? I'm very, very confused on that picture too. So hold on. Let me just rewind this a tad.
Did she let you know who the quote unquote friend was that was driving her home?
Yeah, so this is a common misconception. She was not being driven home and she was not driving. So, okay. At the end of the party,
she was not being driven home. She was not so I don't know. Mandy asks, do you think that it's, because I know that you're on this kind of level of analyzing, is it possible Kiely was driving? You know what I mean? For her to kind of get uncomfortable and say she wasn't driving. Nobody, yes, Smiley Sue says nobody saw her leave, but she knows Kiely wasn't driving. Exactly. There was something else that she had said too, where it was like, how does she know that? Hold on.
when she called, when I saw her, she was supposed to give me a ride home because I had.
And then that was another kind of strange thing. When she called and then she changes it to when I saw her. Could be nothing.
asked her to give me a ride home because I wanted to stay later. I then realized later in the party that I believe she was drunk, and I knew she was drunk, and so I did not want her to be driving me home, because I know about drunk drivers and all that, and so
Smart.
and I figured she would be staying there, or she would find a ride home because she's a smart girl.
So here's the thing I don't get too is she just said, I figured she would be staying there or she would find a ride home. Why did she figure that? Like what information or what is giving her the impression that she would be staying there or, get a ride home? That part never made sense to me either. Like what information did Sammy know or have that made her comfortable enough to think that, yeah, Kylie's just going to stay there. She's going to get a ride home.
Smart enough to know, she's smart. And so, then I found her as I was leaving the party. I was making sure to find her, to tell her that I had another ride home and that I loved her and I wanted to say bye and for her to have fun at the party.
That's the other thing I don't understand either is there's 300 people. It's a crazy party at this time. But she's got to go track her down to tell her that she's leaving. Why don't you just text her? Like, I'm sorry. Even thinking back to my party days, like at their age, would I go and go through 300 people at a campground when I'm trying to leave, would I go around and look for this one person who I separated from? And, honestly, I would just call them. I would just say, hey, couldn't find you, or I wasn't going to go back and go through the crowd to find you, but I got a ride home. Don't worry about it. Or I'd be calling them. But, Sammy, she's such a good person and good friend. She made sure to go find her and tell her, I love you. I got a ride home. What? Well, didn't you want to know how she was getting home? Especially since you're coming out to say that she was so drunk.
And then when I left the party, we were pretty much on 89 with my ride. And she called me as I was in the car in the passenger seat, and she was like, hey, where are you? Do you still need a ride home? And I was like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'm in the car right now. I'm getting driven home now. But Kiely did not have a set ride home, and I was under the.
And did you hear her say, like, we were on 80 or the highway, and then she was like, we were getting on. Well, which is it? Were you about to be on that highway, or were you on that highway, or were you about to get on it? Because then now she just says that Kiely didn't have a ride home. Well, then why didn't you turn around at that point and get her? It's like she was trying to say that they were further than what they really were, to make an excuse for why she didn't go back and get her, maybe. I don't know. That's just my speculation. Exactly, Crime Curious. While I was in the passenger seat, who tells a story about getting a ride home and has to tell all of us what seat they were in? Like we kind of assume you're the passenger because you were drunk. I mean, were you not the passenger? Hold on. Yeah, everyone is saying that she's fumbling through her words at this point. The boyfriend seems uncaring. I agree. And like a real ASS. And saying his social media post to keep an eye out for Kiely and she was probably driving drunk. It was a very cold comment. He said that she was probably driving drunk. I didn't see that. Wow. Sam is the same girl that did the interview with Jagger when they invited the news, right? I don't know. I think that was another girl, Little Wing, because she had longer blonde hair. But I was wondering that too. Let me just kind of rewind this a little bit and we'll watch through it or watch it again. Just because I do find it very interesting. And thank you guys for being here this morning. If you haven't hit that like button or subscribe, please do. We'll be following this case as well as a lot of other cases here.
Like, I'm in the car right now. I'm getting driven home now. But Kiely did not have a set ride home. And I was under the impression that she would either sleep there or find another ride home. And it was not known that anybody would.
Why was she under the impression that she was going to sleep there, get another ride home? What gave her that impression?
Was going to give her a ride home. She was not.
But then has to follow it up with that she didn't know of anyone who was going to give her a ride. Okay. So then why were you under that impression? Like, she's just kind of like contradicting her own statements.
When she called me, she was not in a car. I could hear the party and many people talking in the background.
And she kind of has to sell that last part. You guys see what I'm saying? I could hear her. She was still at the party. I could hear people in the background. Now, if we're going to just hypothetically speculate, what if they were together, and this whole selling it at the end is her trying to make it seem like they weren't together. I was with her on the phone. I could hear people in the background, because that would make it seem like obviously they're not together when, we honestly don't know. Maybe they did leave together. And now Sammy's trying to distance herself from being with her and trying to say when she was on the phone with her, which again, her last activity, according to law enforcement, was 12:33. Was that true? Because her last call, Sammy says, was 12:36. It's just not really making sense, this last interaction. So this is, I'm sure people have seen this. I just wanted to play the little clips of Kiely's father speaking out, because a lot of people have seen the mother, seen her friends, but the father obviously is helping to try and find his daughter too. So I wanted to play this, and I just felt like his message is very important and it's very meaningful. And if anyone has information, please reach out to the sheriff's office, call 911. FBI is involved now too. Parents, if your child was at that party, speak to them, let them know, you're not going to be in trouble, especially with this. And I'm not saying that it's about the reward money, but they've offered this $50,000 reward money for any, information that could help find her. That come forward. You're not going to get in trouble. Like, I'm speaking to the teens, I'm speaking to the parents, because I wonder if the parents are afraid of backlash, letting their teen be out there, whatever, drinking and whatever else. Oh, Sandy, you haven't seen this? Okay, so this, just little clips of the father, Kiely's father.
This community, she is your daughter too.
Overnight, Daniel Rodney speaking out for the first time since his 16-year-old daughter Kiely went missing after going to a party with hundreds of other teens at a campsite near Lake Tahoe.
This is your kids. These are the parties your kids are going to. We need answers. Please, anything, please, I need you.
He just looks so exhausted and desperate. I mean, the car is missing. How do you lose a whole mid-size SUV? They said they use drones and all that, but like, what? Where is this vehicle? They talked about search diving teams looking in the water. Well, they've done that before. What interview, Ashley? Do you know what news station? I can pull it up right now if you want. Because I've seen multiple interviews with the mother. I read one where she was upset that false information was going out about her being found. Very unfortunate that would happen. Imagine being the parent and seeing stuff going around that your child's found and she's not. Exactly, honeybee. If someone took her, why would they take her car? And remember, in that interview, actually, I think I might have the audio of it. I wanted to play some audios too that I didn't pull up on the screen. American Dream Chaser asks her, what do you think happened? And yes, let me know. I will, Little Wing. I'll pull it up on screen as soon as Ashley lets me know, or if any. Oh, News Nation. Yes, love News Nation. I'll pull that up after I play these audio clips. So, the guy says to Sammy, the friend, what do you think happened to Kiely? And she pretty much goes into the scenario of she thinks that she got a ride home, but they didn't bring her home. Like pretty much saying like somebody took her. Why would they take her car? Like if someone's going to take a drunk girl and do nefarious things, why would they take the girl's vehicle? You know, that obviously would be put out on every law enforcement radio out there, the description and all that. You know, they would be seen driving at stoplight cameras and CCTV footage. Like it's just it makes zero sense to me that she would be abducted in her own vehicle. Like if that was going to be the scenario, and again, if you guys think I'm wrong, let me know. This is just my opinion. I'm obviously not an expert. But I just don't foresee somebody kidnapping somebody and then doing it in that person's vehicle. You know, they would have just taken her. They don't need, in fact, they might have not even left the area. They would have just brought her to the woods somewhere. Or if it's like a human trafficking scenario, like people have speculated, why would they hide her vehicle or take her vehicle? Like they just want the human. That's just my opinion. Teresa said, I'm wondering if someone was driving her car with her and something bad happened, a crash or something, so they hit her vehicle. That's what I'm thinking. Well, that's not my main theory. I don't really have a main theory, but yeah, I mean, that is up on the board, you know what I mean, as a possibility for sure. It was reported that divers had been looking. Yes. There were dive teams. Yeah, maybe they were on shrooms and freaked out and now they're scrambling. That is highly possible. Dive teams use sonar and have searched the water. Good. They should keep searching too, because I mean, things can be missed. Sonar is very advanced though. So very interesting. All right, so let me just play these clips that I have, audio clips, things I found interesting. Hold on one second. So this is Sammy's biggest concern, she says. Listen.
To be fully honest, my biggest concern is that somebody, and I've said this in other interviews, somebody knew she was drunk, offered to give her a ride home, and they didn't give her a ride home. And they could be across the world at this point with how long she's been gone. And I'm worried that I have a feeling, and obviously, I don't know, I have a feeling that she's still alive and she's still out there and she's still fighting, but that there's somebody else involved. And that's not confirmed. That's just what I believe. I think there has to be somebody else involved in this. But it's
So if you're at a party, my first thing wouldn't be to think somebody has her. Like I'd be thinking, oh my gosh, she took her car and she drove off the ravine. To me, for Sammy to blame it on somebody else is very suspicious, only because we've seen in other cases and we've heard law enforcement agents who are retired, who are on YouTube. I mean, Chris McDonough himself talks about SOD. Law enforcement cops, refer to this theory as SOD, SOD, some other dude. So a lot of times, and again, it might not be this instant, but in a lot of situations when someone's guilty, they'll blame it on somebody else, but there is nobody else. Like you just say, like, this anomaly took them, or this anomaly must have done it. Here we have Sammy doing that. Somebody took her and she's across the world. Why would she be across the world? So somebody in Australia or, Russia or wherever is across the world from where you guys are right now, or where Kiely is, took her and that's where she is. Why would she be so far away? To me, it almost makes it seem like Kiely isn't far away at all. Actually, she's right around there. She's not across the world. So Sammy's trying to sell it as somebody else took her. She's way, way, way far away. Well, it's probably the opposite of that, in my opinion. And yeah, Kelly searches equals answer says you should rewind a little. Amber still fighting for her life. Yeah, I heard that too. And it's like, yeah, if I, how would she know that she was fighting? You know, why would she be fighting? If you're drunk and you're inebriated and this and that, you're kind of floppy. You're kind of at the whim of whoever has you in their hands. You're not really fighting. I mean, I guess people have fought drunk and stuff, but for her to say she's still fighting, and I believe the ex-boyfriend Jagger says the same thing. She's still fighting. I believe she's safe. So I found it interesting that she thinks that she's across the world, somebody has her, but the ex-boyfriend says that she's safe, and if anyone's going to find her, it's going to be one of them, like referring to the teens looking for her. Like, what? Why would you guys be the ones to find her? That to me was very strange. Very strange. He said, I think we're going to be the ones to find her. I think she's safe. This is coming from the ex-boyfriend. Now combine his statements with Sammy's. Sammy knew exactly where the ex-boyfriend was, because in that interview, they say, was her ex-boyfriend at the party at all? And Sammy knew right away his whereabouts. Nope, he was in Napa Valley that night. Just very interesting that she knows exactly where he was. I don't know. There's rumors going around that Sammy and Jagger dated in the past. Again, that's rumors. Those are hearsay. I would like to know if that's true, though. I mean, according to the social medias, it's very questionable and highly possible, but we just don't know. Let me finish these clips, and then we will pull up News Nation and then probably call it a morning. I have actually another little audio clip that I want to play and talk about the fights that she mentioned. Guys, everyone in my chat is of different ages. You know, I talked to my fiance about the fact that Sammy said that there were fights going on at the parties and that they're for fun. That to me was so bizarre. I mean, we've done some stupid stuff as teens and growing up, but to have orchestrated and organized fights, did you guys hear her say that on American Dream Chaser? The fighting at parties, that was just so bizarre to me. And she says that, you know, they sometimes get upset if they lose, but this wasn't one of those times. Like, why are there people? Oh, Lynn, interesting. The group picture watching a fight? Maybe. Yeah, what's up with the fight stuff? I'm clueless. Me too. And like Melmac, I brought it up to yep, it is bizarre. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yes, they get like boxing gloves. Yes, what kind of party was this? Oh, they were just friendly fights. If you are friends, why are you fighting all the time? Exactly. The Fight Club aspect. Yes, I told my fiance that. I was like, I don't know. Apparently they had like some sort of like fight club where they fight each other, but this time, you know, it wasn't an issue, but other times people get upset if the other one loses or if you lose. It was so bizarre, and the way she talked about it was as if like everyone should know about these types of things and that it wasn't weird. But I mean, I'm sorry. Like I said, you know, spin the bottle and beer pong and just doing idiotic stuff when you're drunk and you're a teenager. Yes, I can relate to that. Yeah, I've seen that. But setting up orchestrated, organized fighting events for fun, that was another red flag for me. I was just like, it wasn't making sense. Ashley Oak said, I heard from two locals that they were rivals and they actually fought and that they actually fight. I believe that. And the fact that they're not following each other on social media, the fact that they didn't arrive at the party together, the fact that she ends up leaving her at the party, according to her, it just is so bizarre. It's very bizarre. I don't know, guys, the fighting aspect to me, I was like, I know I'm not just like outdated and old and just not hip anymore. Like the fighting thing was just not right to me. I don't know. It's just the guys though that fight. Interesting. The other thing too about the fights and the fact that the sheriff office is asking if anyone knows where these necklaces are, I was like, oh my gosh. Do the necklaces have anything to do with anything? Like, why would they put out something saying, if you've seen these necklaces of Kylie's, let us know or bring them to us? I don't know. That's a sad way to be living a teen life. I agree. There are many levels to this, and I fear it might be very twisted. I do too. I do too. So, as I don't know if you guys have seen this home video of Kiely, but Sammy mentioned how she's so smart, she's beautiful, she has a good singing voice. This was shared, I believe, on the official search Instagram, maybe. And I want to say maybe Sammy even runs that group. I don't know. Good morning, CDT. Good to see you. Yeah, I know this is so hard to watch. She's just so talented. And this is her with her grandfather. So let me just play this for you guys. It's her singing. So I hope you don't mind a little bit of music. And then we will play the News Nation stuff, okay? Wasn't that just so sweet? So I've seen somebody said yes, it was reported they were checking pawn shops for the necklaces. Very interesting. Good, good, good. Yep, tons of cases of quote friends who murder each other. Exactly. I mean, and that's the thing is, I don't think we're out of the range of possibilities by being a little bit suspicious of certain things in this case. I mean, we have a missing 16-year-old who, was around 300 people that night. Just some things I want to run through before News Nation real quick, just to reiterate. Law enforcement said there's not enough evidence for this to be labeled an abduction. So they're labeling it a missing person case, not an abduction. So I think that is important to kind of reiterate. She has not been found. It's not being labeled an abduction. Nothing is leading law enforcement to think that. There's 300 people at this party, but no one saw her leave. It's very questionable. The ex-boyfriend thinks she's safe, but Sammy, the friend, thinks that somebody took her. One of the last things the ex-boyfriend texts was, "Don't do anything stupid." And the ex-boyfriend has said that they will be one of the ones to find her. Now, quick run through of the timeline again that we did in the beginning. 6:08 p.m. local security footage before the party. You see her in the black tank top / bodysuit. 10 p.m. Kiely arrives at the party. 11:30 she calls her mother. She's charging her phone with Sammy and discusses giving Sammy a ride home. Her mother said that the curfew could be extended. So 12:25, 25 minutes after midnight, Kiely and Sammy say goodbye. 12:33 a.m. is the last cellular metadata from Kiely's phone. However, at 12:36 a.m., Sammy claimed that Kiely called her and asked how she was getting home. All right, so, 8 a.m., the mother finds out she never made it home that night. So now let me make sure I got all these audios out of the way that I wanted to play.
Really spent some time in the past. I definitely feel like that in this current situation that she's safe. I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the 2 of us, 3 of us, or other people are going to bring her home safe.
So that was the ex-boyfriend talking about how they're going to be the ones to find her. He believes that she's safe. Why would you think that she's safe? She's been missing for a week. That is just so bizarre. Like, if I was the ex, I'd be like, I don't want to speculate or say anything negative, but I'm just not getting a good feeling like this. But where is she? But instead, they have like this opposite, like, I don't know. I guess it's important to be positive, but it's just very, very, I don't know. And then he's got to reiterate that he has no idea where she is. Hold on.
That she's safe. I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the 2 of us, 3 of us, or other people are going to bring her home safe.
I don't have any, pretty much has to clarify that he doesn't know where she is. Like, nobody asked you that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into it too much. Okay, let me pull up News Nation. And thank you again, guys, for being here and going through this case with me in the morning. I am watching the baby monitor as I'm sharing the screen. She's still sleeping. She usually sleeps until right around now or 9:30. So if I'm able to kind of get up and do some more morning reporting, I will be here in the mornings like this to kind of go through things if you guys want to join me again. Okay, she's up, but she's hanging out in her crib. I'm looking at the monitor. So we got time for this News Nation. Okay, I'm looking. It was last night, you said? I'm looking at their videos. Oh, okay, they just share a lot because obviously it's like a main news source station. Hold on. Um, 11 hours ago. 1 second for this ad, guys. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share Kiely's information out on your social medias. Share this stream, and it's also a way to kind of get her story out there.
Tonight to the missing case we brought you here on Prime last night, and it is the continued search intensifying for 16-year-old Kiely Rodni. She disappeared from a campground party in Northern California nearly a week ago. It was last Friday night. We have surveillance photos tonight captured just after.
I agree, CDT. If any of these friends or the ex-boyfriend find her, that will be very suspicious. Exactly. Like, what? Oh, Christy B. She is the best baby. Like, I literally don't even need to grab her yet. She's just she's got books and toys in her crib, so she's just hanging out. But yeah, that's why I do morning and evening lives, because my days are just packed with mommy duties. So yeah, she's not crying, she's just chilling. So we got time to finish this and then close out for the day. And thanks again for being here, everyone.
Hours before Kiely was last seen. Right now, investigators pouring through hundreds of tips in the case, along with cell phone video, anything that could help them retrace Kiely's last steps and any conversations she may have had with people at that party. Kiely's mom is going to be joining me live in just a moment. But first, I want to turn to correspondent Nancy Liu with the very latest in the search for answers tonight and Kiely. Nancy.
Marnie, the Placer County Sheriff's Office says over 500 tips have come in, and they are following up on more than 300 leads. But nearly a week since Kiely Rodni disappeared, still no sign of her or her car.
I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well.
Kiely Rodni's boyfriend says he is optimistic, sharing what he told her before she went to the party Friday night with her friends.
So I was just like, okay, be safe. Don't do anything stupid.
But now he is among the many others putting up flyers in the massive search for the California teen, now entering day 6.
If you have video of that night, detectives want more of it. There has been a lot of video provided, and some of it had to do with a fight that occurred at the party. Detectives right now are asking for any additional video that you have.
Law enforcement are searching across the Tahoe National Forest. Well over 200 young people had gathered near the Prosser family campground for a senior last bash. Kiely's grandfather is missing their musical moments and offering belated advice.
If your child wants to go to a party or go somewhere, make sure they go with someone and make sure they return with those people. Don't leave anybody behind.
Driving out of that campground area at night is treacherous, but so far no sign of.
And I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous that we have to come out and tell the public, don't leave somebody behind at a party. That should just be instilled sort of in your moral compass. You know, if she's this good friend to Sammy, why the heck did you leave her? And I know that there's no point in going back and questioning people's actions, why they did this and why they didn't do that. But I don't know. Kids are going to party. And the least we can do as parents is to kind of guide them into, how you treat a friend and what you should and shouldn't do. Especially Sammy's 18. She's at the age of college. She should know better than to leave a girl inebriated who also has her car there.
Of Kiely's SUV or her. Law enforcement released images of a sweatshirt Kiely borrowed that night with an eerie caption reading, "You don't want to be forgotten, you just want to disappear." Kiely's mother is garnering strength from the community.
It's this community that's standing behind me and standing with me and supporting me and holding me up that is allowing me to fake you guys into all thinking that I have it together, even the smallest bit.
We just want word out so that more eyes are out, because we don't have an exact spot to look for. And that is unusual, especially with a large object like a car.
Now, it's not clear yet whether the fight at the party had anything to do with Kiely's disappearance, but law enforcement say any videos or images from that night can be helpful in finding Kiely, stressing again that they are not interested in punishing kids for any underage drinking that night. Marnie?
All right, Nancy, thank you. I want to welcome in Lindsay Rodni Neiman. She is Kiely's mother. Lindsay, thank you so much for giving us some time tonight. I know it's important to keep Kiely's story out there. The more people that see her face, hear about it, can help in the search. How are you doing tonight?
I'm tired, but I'm doing okay. Thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking about that last text message that you shared with Kiely. Tell me more about what she said.
Well, she just, it was 11:30 at night, and she said that she was going to be planning on leaving about 12:15 and heading home. And I told her to, be careful and wake me up when she. Sorry, when she got home, and she said, "Okay, Mama, I love you," and that was it.
Do you have any reason to doubt, Lindsay, that Kiely sent that message? Did it sound or seem like a text that she would normally send as you're looking back at things?
It was a text that she had sent me over and over again every time she was settling on plans.
That's an interesting theory too. Okay, so here's the thing. I thought that Kiely called her mother and said, "Hey, can I stay later?" Now I'm finding out that it's a text message. So that is interesting because it very well could have not been from Kiely, although the person would have had to have had access to her phone, her password, or whatever. But with face recognition and the fingerprint, I mean, it's not really hard to get in if you have that person near you. I know it's disturbing to kind of think about if it wasn't her sending that text that they got into her phone and stuff, but we have to kind of leave that possibility up there as a possibility that what if it wasn't her sending that text message? That can kind of change the timeline a bit. So the fact that it wasn't a phone call is very interesting. As far as who gave her that sweatshirt, Teresa, I don't know, but I will say, being a Lana Del Rey fan, most of her songs are from a female's perspective. I would say that most of her fans are female based. She's a California singer and poetry writer. So a lot of people in California worship her. Her face is painted all over Venice Beach area, like Jim Morrison from The Doors. She's just a local Californian. People just love her music and her poetry. As far as the lyrics or the words on the front, I don't know if it's lyrics or if it's part of Lana Del Rey's poetry book that she wrote, but I do find that eerie and strange. But at the same time, people have speculated that it was a sign. And if you see this girl wearing this, and that was a clue to have you abduct her because of the words on it. Like, I don't think it's that deep. I don't think the meaning of the words go any deeper than it just being an eerie coincidence, only because I know Lana Del Rey's music and poetry, and it comes from a very somber, melancholy type vibe. So it doesn't surprise me that Lana Del Rey's lyrics said that, and that California girls are wearing that hoodie. I do want to know whose hoodie it was. I would have to speculate it was a female's, just based on the fact that I believe most fans of Lana Del Rey are female. It could be a male. I'm not going to say it's not, but at the same time, if I had to suspect, it would be a female's hoodie. I mean, you could see the flowers on it too. Not saying that men don't want to wear flowers, but I don't know. Yeah, I have every single Lana Del Rey thing there is. Yeah, I just think that it was a female's hoodie. All right, so let me continue on. And yes, I love her music too. Hi, Mia Moore. So glad you're here.
Figuring out, like what she was doing. She was always checking. She was always letting me know where she was, when she was leaving, where she was going next. And it was, it was her, "Hey, Mama, I'm on my way home in a little bit, so I'll see you soon." It wouldn't have been unusual for me to even get another text from her, another half hour, 40 minutes later, letting me know that she was on her way the last little bit to our house.
So that was late Friday night, kind of into the early morning hours of Saturday. At what point did you start to worry, get concerned?
Well, I woke up 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and immediately realized that she had not woken me up. And so, I thought my husband was home. Maybe she checked in with him. And so I got up and I looked at the driveway and her car wasn't there. And I looked at her room and she wasn't there. And I reached for my phone and I grabbed, I grabbed my phone and I looked for her location that she always shared with me in the last the last update it had was from the party site about midnight. And so at that point, I reached out to her dear friend to see if she was there. And once we found out that she wasn't there, it's terrible.
Yeah. And then that panic as a parent.
And yeah, she reached out to her friend. We talked about this in the timeline in the beginning of the live stream. She reached out to Kiely's friend, and her friend said, I left the party early, but we were supposed to meet at Starbucks at 9 a.m. so that we could go camping. So then the mother and the friend went to the Starbucks and waited to see if she would show up. So this dear friend, I don't believe is Sammy. I think it's a separate friend. And I'm just, hi, Carolina, good to see you. I'm just looking at people's comments about the text message to the mother. You know, was the spelling messed up? Was there a hint that she was super drunk? I would love to see this exact text message because, you know, that's just an interesting element to all this.
Sets in. Police, Lindsay, not ruling out the possibility that Kiely may have been abducted, even trafficked. How much are investigators sharing with you about the tips coming in and where they're at in the search?
The law enforcement, all of the teams who have been working together with us.
And just looking at this map here, you know, earlier in the stream, we played a clip of Sammy conducting the search party. And, you know, look at the campground and then look at where Reno is. It looks close together on the screen, but, you know, it is a distance apart. Sammy's conducting this search crew and she says, does anyone want to go to Reno? Okay, but I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm just overanalyzing, but like, wouldn't CCTV footage or, you know, something kind of give law enforcement a clue that like she was traveling in that direction or the car was in that direction? I don't know. I can't help but wonder if they're steering things a certain way, you know, away from where Kiely really is, if they know where she really is. Do we know which friend? I'm thinking Mags, but haven't seen it confirmed. Could have missed it though. No, I've only seen it say friend. I haven't heard the name. Okay, so mom said in this interview it was her because it's how she texts her. And I guess it would be hard to get into somebody else's phone.
To find her have been, they've been working, you know, day and night. It seems I see them and so tired. They have been so transparent with us. They've been so open to keeping the communication between them and the investigation and the family just so open. Unfortunately, just, you know, none of the tips yet have led to anything definitive that's helping us.
What else stands out to you, Lindsay, about that night as you talked to her friends about the conversations that they were having, what was going on at the party? Any of those clues rising to the surface, your mother's instinct, like honing in on something particular?
President Fetta's award-winning taste.
Oof. Sorry, guys. So while this ad is playing, Ray Bird said that there was an interview with Mags saying they were supposed to go camping. Thank you. Thank you for that. So that kind of clears things up a little bit.
Letting the police and the teens talk to one another. I am not a trained investigator. I am not someone who has any experience with finding missing children. It's not my position to talk to any of these people and try to figure out what happened. I'm leaving that all to everyone who I trust and I know has the capability and the determination to do so.
Well, it is clear from the video that we've seen of the dozens and dozens of volunteers out there, your family and all of those involved. There's a lot of love for Kiely tonight and the efforts to bring her home safely. I was looking at that video of her playing some music. Tell us about your daughter, a little bit personally about her. What makes her so special?
Everything makes her special. I'm going to try to get through this. Excuse me. She's such a dynamic human. She has been as you see, so musical. She loves playing music. She started playing at a very young age. It was the first time that she got her first violin and started playing. And she loves science. She loves baking. She loves dancing, as you can see in the photo you're sharing right now. She's so dynamic, and in that dynamic personality that she has, she has been able to make true connections with practically everybody who she meets because she has a common interest with them. And so there just doesn't seem to be anybody ever who I come across who has met her who doesn't just love her. And oh God, you know, I mean, she was so smart, and she's so funny, and she's great with little kids. She's like this magnet for toddlers. They come and they run, and she gets down on their level. And there's just, I could go on and on and on about everything that's wonderful about my daughter.
An amazing person, embracing life. What would you want to say to Kiely tonight?
Tonight, I will tell Kiely that I love her so much. So many people love you. And we're all looking, and we're trying so hard. And I'm so sorry we haven't found you yet, but we're not giving up. And just hang in there, sweetie, because we'll find you soon, bring you home.
And Lindsay, a message to anybody who was at the party Friday night who is afraid to come forward and share anything they know, anything that they saw, for fear of getting in trouble for what they were doing that night.
Oh, nobody cares about what you were doing. Nobody cares. I promise you. Nobody cares. All that we care about is bringing Kiely back. All that we care about is getting any kind of little bit of information that can help us move forward in our search to find her. And we promise you that you won't get in any trouble. I promise you. There's anonymous tip lines. Even there's other peers that you can reach out to if you're nervous. It's a hard thing to be courageous, and it's okay to be scared, and it's also okay and important to act on that courage and to come forward when you know it's time.
Lindsay, sending you a lot of love tonight. We're thinking about you, and we'll continue to follow the search for your daughter, and we'll keep tabs, anything that we can do to help.
Wow. Very heartbreaking to watch that, for sure. Let me just pull up Twitter, and then we'll close out. This kind of pretty much concludes the updates. Here it says that it's come out that the party started being advertised on Snapchat a month prior. There was other information that came out in that press conference yesterday that they have CCTV footage and ring camera footage. So they have things that they are going through, which I found was interesting when they said that in the press conference yesterday. There really wasn't much new information in that press conference, but that was one of the things that I kind of took away, and it was said in the first 2 minutes, so you kind of had to pay close attention in the early minutes of the press conference, because after that it really didn't have very much new information. But they have camera footage and ring camera footage that they'll be going through. According to Twitter, there's really not much on here that's updated. Oh, the lawn guy's outside, so you might hear a little weed whacker, whack weeder. All right. So that's pretty much all the updates I have. It just still stands out to me that the ex-boyfriend said that their text said, "Don't do anything stupid." And he also said that he assumes she's safe, but yet she hasn't been found for a week. So where is he getting all these feelings from? I don't know. I just really hope we get some information and news on her whereabouts soon. Yes. Who is saying, Julie, that her spaghetti straps are why this happened? Because that annoys the heck out of me that people are trying to say her outfit was too promiscuous or not. Hello, she's wearing a bodysuit. A bodysuit is like those baby onesies that snap between your legs. It's very covering, actually. It makes it so that your shirt doesn't go up because it's tucked into your pants. She's wearing pants. She had a hoodie on, supposedly. So that anyone shaming her outfit, that annoys me too, and I do not like that. Actually, you know what? There was I want to say it was in New York City. I don't know. It was something that they put on display. Somebody put together something that showed victims of SA and what they were wearing the night that they were attacked. And they had the victims, they had a display of outfits that girls were wearing during their SA. And if you look this up, you can find it on Google. A lot of the outfits that these girls were SA'd in were modest clothing. So no, the clothes have nothing to do with it. It is absolutely nothing to do with it. Okay, Jeffrey. All right. You got your trolling out of the way. Unbelievable. Like, you are a lowlife to go around trolling on a case like this. Complete lowlife. Do not shame this girl for what she was wearing. There was nothing wrong with her. You know what? I'm going to find this little thing on Google right now. Because it is very, very humbling. Hope you're watching, Jeffrey, if you're still in chat. Loser coming in here shaming. Look at this. Oh, yeah, this looks terrible. Yeah, this is what these women, look at these outfits. You know, how dare they? Pants and a baggy sweatshirt. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is to teach people like you, Jeffrey, the true story behind what happens to SA victims. These are what they wear. This has nothing to do with what Kiely was wearing that night. So please shut your mouth. And I hope you never have a daughter, and I hope this never happens to you. In fact, I can't even. That just annoyed the heck out of me. If Ahmad could remove Jeffrey for shaming Kiely for her outfit that night and saying that that's why this happened. Screw you. On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. And please tune in to CDT. She's doing an afternoon live and we'll bring more updates. So thanks everybody who was kind and respectful and not that jerk in chat just now who had to chime in, even though we are wrapping up, you know. Oh, there was Tony and Jeffrey. There's two guys in here. Oh, what do you know? Two males. Sorry, I'm just really annoyed that they would try to shame this girl for her outfit. And like, I'm not saying that it's just guys that are doing it. I have seen females trying to say something about it, but I don't want to end this live on a bad note, but I just want to educate people and let you guys know that it has nothing, what happened to her has nothing to do with what she was wearing. So hopefully we get some news and we get some positive news and we get a conclusion and then we get justice on this because it's what's deserved and it's what's needed for the mother, for the family, for everyone who, you know, loves this girl. She's a person. She needs to be found. So thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm going to get the baby and I'm going to make breakfast and start my day. And I really appreciate starting the day here with you guys. So thank you so much for being here. And we will talk very, very soon. And yep, see you soon, guys.